Hello, everybody, and welcome to my Game Week 14 team selection video. This is Pranal here, also known as Lateriser 12, and I'm hoping that this team selection video is a little less chaotic compared to last week's video. I mean, I got a lot of comments saying, that my thoughts are moving too fast, my words are moving too fast. So I'm trying to be calmer. I'm going to be calmer and just present information as calmly as possible and what my thinking is in terms of the team selection as well. Right. Before we talk about future plans, I'm going to keep this video particularly short because the deadline is tonight. It's a Tuesday night deadline for people that don't know. So make sure you're making your moves by evening, etc. If you're in India time, if you're in UK time, make sure you're making your moves earlier. And let's talk about last week. Last week started off on a pretty nice note with Evan Nielsen winning 3 penalties. He's won 5 penalties now so far this season. That's pretty encouraging. And I'm pretty happy about the one good thing that I've done this season is jump on him. He's looked good. I feel confident. His fixtures are great in the medium term as well. So no problems with that pick. Salah captaincy came through, Palmer came through. Obviously, where I got hurt is everybody else had a certain Bukayo Saka. You're welcome, Bukayo Saka owners, by the way. And I did mention last week that he's a great captaincy option. I did mention last week that he's a great pick for the December fixture crunch. It's just that I'm ranked at 2.6, 2.5 million, as you can see, and I wanted to zag so that I can try making up some ground with this certain Norwegian robot sitting here with another blank in my team against Haaland. But this was the week I had to see out. I didn't get a red given that City and Liverpool played each other, which is quite nice because Saka had a great fixture. It was a captaincy fixture. And I've blocked myself out of Bukayo Saka as things stand because I have Timber, Gabriel, and Raya. Very excited about the Timber pick still. I think he looks very attacking as a defender. And I think an assist or a goal, some sort of attacking returns are coming in this December fixture crunch. My fingers are crossed, and I think people are that have an extra spot open for this Arsenal defender and not have an Arsenal defender. They have double Arsenal defense and Saka and not Haaland are probably going to move to Trent. A lot of people are shifting to Trent, and I think that's great, by the way. Trent looked delicious against Manchester City. He had a couple of pops at goal. He looked really good. He had a couple of assist chances as well, and he was a lot more attacking against City than he's been previously. So is this a change in style that Arne Slot is doing? Did he sense that City is there for the taking, so attack that side? Either way, Liverpool are the top 2 defense in the country, along with Arsenal, so that's great. And Trent looks good. The only thing is he's coming back from an injury, so you'll see some minutes managed, but I think that might be good for his clean sheet perspectives because they only have 5 defenders fit. They've got, even Tsimikas isn't fit, so they've got Virgil, Trent, Gomez, Konsa, and Robbo fit at the moment. So we'll see some minutes managed in terms of some 65th, 70th minute subs, which is fine because a lot of goals do tend to happen in the last 15-20 minutes of games. And yeah, man, Trent is a great pick if you are in the market for Trent. Because when I'm doing these team selection videos, I'm mindful that I'm not what the template is. So, in terms of whether you're on the edge about a few moves and whether you should do them or not, I think Trent is a great pick. Go for it. I wouldn't worry too much about the Newcastle fixture either because they've not been in a great run of form. That said, St. James's Park under lights is a slightly difficult fixture, but Liverpool have always done well there. The other big teams have struggled at St. James's Park, but Liverpool have won there. That's something I just remember from my memory. Apologies, still the cough isn't going, so sometimes there's a little bit of cough that you have to deal with in these videos. Man, this season, I'm sitting at 14 points away from 2 million, still 45 points away from 1 million. I mean, if I didn't have Haaland and if I had anybody else, Jackson, etc. as well, I would have been 60, 70 points clearer this season, but we try, man. I'm still, the feeling that I'm feeling so far in this FPL season is I'm not feeling panic. I am not feeling defeat. I'm still feeling quiet optimism that we'll turn it around. And I like that I'm still playing FPL. We're playing the game and we'll see what happens. And like I mentioned the last week, that if I went with the Haaland path, the thing that I'm okay with is I'm not afraid of failing. So if I end the season with 2.5 million and don't have a good season, or like even outside of 500k, I'm okay because I'm trying. I'm a much happier person when I'm listening to my own instincts, trying to play the game, trying to enforce points and make faster gains than to just go with the flow. And it'll be a very interesting case study because Zoff and I had actually very similar teams last week. And the 2 paths that I was considering, right? I did Timber in for Lewis, and I changed up Carvalho to dribbling to allow that Timber move, and I did Raul Jimenez to Pedro. Zoff did Haaland, Raul Jimenez, and Rogers to Saka, Jackson, and Pedro. So he's already made 13, 14 points on me on that move, and we were at the same point. So it'll be interesting to see where we are in Jan after taking different paths, but with very similar teams. I think the only primary difference that we had in our teams is I have Raya, he has Flecken, and I have Evan Nielsen, he has Strand Larsen. Outside of that, our structure is largely the same, and Saka was so good, man. I did mention last week as well. He's made a step forward from last week. Arteta is playing him closer to goal. He's got that Salah killer instinct a lot this season. So incredible pick, man. And I'll have to pray and hope every time. That said, I'll explain why I might be open to accumulating transfers, because if I want to get Saka, I need 2 or 3 transfers in the bank, and I'm open to selling Raya, right? It's not a very high upside pick, and I'm okay letting go of that Raya pick if it enables a Formium or Saka in the future. So I think for that reason, I might want to accumulate transfers because Saka looks delicious. I think I can get by maybe against United and Fulham in the next 2. They're not as easy fixtures as West Ham was. We'll see what happens. Right. This is my team at the moment. Triple Arsenal defense. I'm starting them. I'm starting Mikulenko. Over right, Nuri. A lot of people have this bench dilemma. I'm starting Mikulenko because I think Everton are a different team against really good opposition, where they tend to bend over and lose and concede. And they're a really different team against similar or middling opposition, especially at home. When I've expected them to clean for me, they've cleaned this season, which is why I'm not going to overthink it. Mikulenko is going to start over right, Nuri, for me. And I saw that Wolves-Bournemouth game, man. Like, Wolves were conceding chances for fun. That said, Bournemouth is a very different stylistically team compared to Everton in terms of high press, all action, all energy, etc. as well. So, yeah, starting Mikulenko, starting my United defender, my Arsenal defenders against United. It's an emotional hedge irrespective. And I think with the United Arsenal defenders, I have to start Timber and Gabriel because outside of clean sheet potential, both have set piece potential, both have good attacking threat as well. Salah, there's no, I don't have a benching decision outside of that. And the main point of contention was, do I zag this week with Haaland at a home captaincy, or do I captain Palmer? Now, we know from my team selection videos and the big hitter videos that I do that last year, Palmer was the biggest flat track bully there was. He was a bigger flat track bully than Haaland. And that was when City were good. And this year also, Palmer's an insanely good flat track bully, especially at home, but he's also a flat track bully against easier opposition. One thing is that. And the second thing is, I spoke to, shout out to FPL Pricey, and I was like, is this a week for me to zag? And I asked him, what do the 3 yellow cards that Southampton got mean for Southampton? 3 of their players got their 5th yellow card this week. One of them was Downs. Downs is the guy that's responsible for pinging the ball out from the back, because Southampton, as you know, are purists and they like to play out from the back, even though they're giving away chances and making mistakes again and again. So he's the guy who's actually good and one of the better guys at bringing the ball out of the back. He's not playing. Tyler Dibbling is not going to play. Dibbling is the best ball carrier. When you need somebody to progress the ball from, let's say, 30 yards inside your own half to 30 yards in the opposition half, Dibbling is one of the best dribblers, etc., that Southampton have. So he's an outlet that's missing. And the third guy that's missing is Howard Bellis, who's probably been one of the best defenders Southampton have had this season. Bednarik might be fit, though. He's going to be in the squad, so I expect him to start. But losing Howard Bellis is losing another good quality defender, and the replacements that they have aren't Premier League quality, unfortunately. So there's too many things in favor of Palmer. And City, I think they will click now. I think seeing Doku back, seeing Savinho back, I think this is the week where City turn their fortunes around. That's it. I can wait to double down on the Haaland captaincy. He's enough of a differential already. He's at 47% owned, so I don't need to captain him this week. Opportunities to make that substantial game will alive in the future. Palmer is just a clearly better fixture. That said, my head sometimes is weird, and I allow myself if I just feel like putting the armband on Haaland late in the night, I'm sometimes just do something like that. I am a little unpredictable like that. That said, 90% I'm going to captain Cole Palmer. The only slight worry with Cole Palmer is manage minutes, because Maresca tends to manage minutes. Maresca tends to rotate. And this is the first time they have a midweek Premier League fixture. They haven't had that. When they have a midweek European or a cup fixture, he plays a second team. This is the first time they have a midweek Premier League fixture. So how he's going to treat that, we don't know. That said, I'm not expecting much. It's just important information to give out. Rogers really needs to do something, man, because I spoke on the pod as well. Every time has a goal or assist, it feels like a fluke. I need Rogers to come through this week. And the main talking point again this week, I was expecting it to be a short video and we're 10 minutes in already, is a certain Brian Mbumo. Now, one main thing that I mentioned already is that I might want to get Saka back. I don't know how, but I might want to get Saka back. So is this the time for me to take action and move Bumo to many midfielders that I've spoken about in the pod? You know, look, what's the watch list in and around that Bumo price point? We're talking about Eze, Bowen, Kudus, Mitoma, Madueke, Neto, Savio, Diaz, BJ, Gordon, ESR, Iwobi, Rashi, Gardner. It's just that it isn't a strikingly good entry point, except for maybe West Ham. But how are West Ham going to play? In fact, I was waiting for Lopetegui's presser, and he did mention in his press conference that yes, Kudus is back and he's available, but he hasn't played football for 6 or 7 weeks now. So is he immediately going to throw Kudus into the mix? Is he going to play Somerville? I think I'm expecting Kudus to start, but I want to see how they play for a week before jumping on West Ham if they have to. If your team is in great position and if you want to jump, West Ham's a great entry point because look at the fixtures: Leicester, Wolves, Bournemouth, Brighton, Southampton. You're getting a good 5 fixtures from an attacking point of view. That said, West Ham haven't convinced in attack. They haven't looked that great. But we mentioned on the pod, they're flat track police. They've scored 11 goals in 6 games against opposition 10 or below. So they tend to do well and they'll be motivated as well. It's a good team. It's a good squad. We were very high on West Ham, if you remember, preseason because of the transfers and everything that they made. Fulkrug's close as well. That said, Boomer could play in a front two against Aston Villa. Aston Villa haven't looked defensive. They've been a little bit Jekyll and Hyde. They haven't looked defensively really good this season, which is why I'm going to hold on to Boomo. Because deciding to move on a player in this bracket is deciding at what entry point are you attacking the fixtures. I don't feel confident enough to lose Boomo at this particular entry point, and I don't feel confident enough to have faith in West Ham to jump on them in this entry point. Not because I don't think Bowen or Kudus are good picks. It's because I don't trust West Ham attacking. I don't know if there's enough upside there. The upside's there with the fixtures. Leicester Wolves is as good as it can get as a duo of fixtures. And then 2 weeks later, you're going to get Southampton as well. It's a punt if you feel confident because Boomer's not done much, but there's a good chance he plays in the front too. And Boomer's, when it comes to such things, right, when somebody's shown poor stats in the last 5 or 6 weeks, you pay close attention to pedigree, and Boomer has pedigree to be a top FPL asset in the last 2 or 3 years. And I think it's fine. It's not a move that you need to make. I don't think it's a move that you need to. On the pod, I was playing devil's advocate in the sense that I thought we needed to question the pick more. But after having processed that and thinking that, I don't think you need to necessarily move on Boomo if there is no replacement that you're not convinced about. Especially because he could play up top in the next 2 games against Aston Villa and Newcastle. And from a very personal, my own team point of view, I feel like the next time I want to move, I want to actually address a few other things because I don't have much leeway with a certain Morgan and Rogers, right? Because I have Haaland, Salah, and Palmer, my fixture, and a triple Arsenal defense, my funds are pretty constrained. So if I'm selling Boom, I actually prefer going lower in price so that I can upgrade Rogers to another pick as well. So Boomo and Rogers get converted to 2 other midfielders. And Rogers probably has 3 games where I can play him at the moment confidently. Where is Aston Villa? Yeah, so he's got Brentford at home, Southampton at home, Forest away. I'm okay playing him. Actually, after City, he's got Newcastle, Brighton, Leicester. So he's got good leeway. But 17 and 18 might be a problem for Rogers. So I want somebody who can cover 17 and 18. It can be a defender that comes in for Mikolenko because Mikolenko is playing Chelsea and City. Ait Nouri is going to be playable in Leicester away, but he's not going to be playable in United home. These are my 4th and 5th defenders that I'm talking about. So I might need to convert Mikolenko to a Chelsea defender or might get like somebody like... That's why this is the watch list that I have in mind because I don't know which direction my team is going to take. If Saka keeps pestering and punishing me with 10 pointers galore, then I have a problem and I need to think about getting Saka. So I need to keep my options open. And while I want to do that, Boom was just fine for a while until I have enough conviction in the direction I want to take with my team at the moment. So I'm happy to save a transfer. All right, other points of entry when selling him. So I think if you don't sell Boomer right now, he's fine for the next 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Aston Villa away, Newcastle home, Chelsea away. Chelsea are not the best defense. Forest home, tough fixture, but Brentford are good at home. And then Brighton. So I do have some leeway with Boomer. And what are the other entry points for the other guys, right? So let's look at Madueke or Neto. Other people are disregarding them as picks, but I think if I let Southampton go, I still think there's a pick there with a Chelsea midfielder, and there's an entry point anytime between now and Game Week 20 if I want to go for a Chelsea midfielder. I just need to see more because Madueke got benched the previous game, so I want to see what Maresca does. Eze has a decent entry point Eze has a good entry point now because of the next three. You're getting two of Ipswich and Brighton, which are good from an attacking perspective. Even City nowadays is a good fixture for attackers. Then he's got Arsenal, which is a tough fixture. Then Bournemouth and Southampton. So Eze is a decent entry point, but he played 65 minutes, and Klasner mentioned that Eze is good. He's going to start, and he looks fine. Just a little rusty. Great entry point for West Ham right now. We spoke about Bowen and Kudus. If I was selling Bumo for a West Ham midfielder, I would sell him for Kudus over Bowen. Because my squad dictates that I actually need funds elsewhere to upgrade the Rodgers position in the future. So that's a problem. So I need to solve that. Actually, when Rodgers has the two tough fixtures against City and Newcastle, Dibbling has Fulham and West Ham. So he's playable. It's not the worst, but it's not convincing either, right? So I just want to wait till I action the move. And plus, I don't have conviction on West Ham's attack at the moment. So I want to see how they are against Leicester. That'll be interesting to see what Root does as well. One other midfielder that I have an eye on is a certain Bonanote. That said, the entry point is now because West Ham, Brighton and Wolves. Then they got Liverpool and City in 18 and 19. So not that. So I spoke about Eze, I spoke about Bowen, Kudus, Mitoma, Madueke. Mitoma is a good entry point right now. And minutes are not a concern. I was surprised. He's got 85 plus minutes in all games and he was rested only for one game, which was the game after the international break. Otherwise, he's playing 85 plus minutes. He's playing 90 minutes non-stop. So good entry point for Mitoma if you want to go right now. If you are replacing Bumo this week and if you have conviction that he needs to be replaced, my favorite two options are, as things stand, are a West Ham midfielder or Mitoma. Eze is also like a punty pick. I don't mind that. There's going to be an entry point for Savio or City midfielder soon because in 18, City have Everton at home, Leicester away, West Ham home. So if they improve, and how long are they going to constantly lose? If they improve, there could be an entry point here. Brennan Johnson is always the pick. If minutes were not a concern, Brennan Johnson is hands down the best pick in this bracket because Spurs attack like crazy. They're a good team, and Johnson hogs the XG. That said, now with Madison doing really well, there's only place for two of Madison, Kulusevski, and Brennan Johnson consistently in the team. So I'm a little worried about his minutes at the moment. There's going to be an entry point for Gordon soon as well because in Game Week 16, he's got Leicester at home and 17, he's got Ipswich away. So I do have other points and entry points. ESR in Game Week 17, he plays Southampton at home, Chelsea away, Bournemouth at home, Ipswich at home. So there are these mid-price mids that have good entry points in the future if I don't want to have conviction, if I don't have conviction in the West Ham guys right now. And then there's Rashi and Garner, right? It looks like Rashi could be the favored guy for Amorim. And I think the Arsenal team selection will tell us a lot because Rashi played midweek. Ideally, Garner should play, but does he start Rashi against Arsenal as well? That's going to be interesting to watch because then he's telling us that maybe Rashi is the guy. Then there's an entry point for Rashi, either in 15 where he's got Forest, City, Bournemouth, Wolves, Newcastle, or you enter in 17 where you've got Bournemouth, Wolves, Newcastle. So there are entry points if I want to sell Bumo in the future, but I think it's very important in terms of where else am I going to use my funds. Even I want a Trent in the future if I want to open up space for a Saka in the future. I can upgrade my Arsenal defender to Trent or something of that sort. So we'll see, and that depends because Bumo is 7.5 million. So I can go down $1 million, $1.5 million on that price bracket if there's a pick that emerges. So I just feel like I don't need to jump right now. I'm happy to be patient. The team looks good for this week. And we'll see where we land. Palmer captain 95% unless there's a slight whim. Outside of that, I'm good. And that's me in the team selection video this week. As always, thank you to Fantasy Football Scout. All the stats that you see on are from the Fantasy Football Scout members area. And this is the first week for Sleeper. So we give out 4 Premier League jerseys every... Let me see if I have the QR code in the future slides. These are the old slides. I'm just going to the Sleeper thing. So just you scan this QR code, download the Sleeper app because we give out Premier League kits, 4 Premier League kits a month. One for the winner of our main Sleeper League every month gets a Premier League kit. And if you join our Discord, you get to hang with us in the Discord and it's pretty active and it's a lot of fun. And the top 3 in the Sleeper Discord League, which has 150, 200 participants, get a Premier League kit every week. So your odds are pretty good for that as well. So yeah, I recommend doing that. And that's all for this week. Thank you, by the way. We reached 34,000 subscribers on YouTube, and we're aiming or hoping to get to 35,000 by Christmas. That will be a lovely Christmas gift from you guys to us. So we'd really, really appreciate it. And until then, good luck, guys. I hope this was less chaotic. I hope this was more balanced. I hope the speed in which I'm talking is much better. And I'll see you around. Take care, guys.